everybody, it's Tony. I wanted to jump on today and just say hello and hope everyone's hanging in there. And I wanted to continue on our journey here because the Reimagine School journey is continuing on and on. And I know it's been a few days that I was making videos for the students and we were doing Zooms and things like that. And so, yeah, so it's been a little bit, let me take this off so I can be a little bit mobile. Okay, so I'm going to get the door from my dog. Not that you need to know that, but hey. Oh, okay. So let's talk a little bit here, okay, about the next part of our Reimagine journey, which is Reimagine. Let's recap. Actually, let's recap first. Let's do a recap. So first we started with reimagining relationships, then reimagine environment, then reimagine instruction, then reimagine messages, then reimagine audience. We've been on a journey, everybody. I hope that you are enjoying this, and it's really helped me think. So we're up to reimagine and the letter G and the word I chose. And it's hard to choose words for each of these. I wanted it to be an acronym, so that's why I did it this way, so we can remember the things. But there are so many levels. There's a lot of different words you can choose. So I'm just sharing my thoughts, and I want you guys to run with it, and let's talk about it, and let's just really do it, because this is the time to really think about it. So reimagine grades. And this is always one of those fun ones to just say the word grades, and people are just, all of a sudden everyone's like, heightened state of alert, because there's a lot of discussion about grading, right? We know that. So, and I'm going to share a little bit about what I believe about grades, and it's really, what you believe about grades, but it's also what we see that has to do with grades, okay? So when we think of grades, and I know, this is my 27th year, okay? I taught, and kids that got A's, did that mean that they knew, were they proficient? That's the word we want to use. Were they proficient, and I'm not saying on a standardized test, meaning did they have the knowledge and skills that I wanted them to have just because they got an A? You guys think about that out there, because I think you're going to have the same answer that I have. The answer that I have is no. Is no. So just because a kid gets an A in a class, which does not mean that they know what you want them to know. It means, and again, take this all, I want you to process what I'm saying, because this is a touchy subject, we know. It's more like, and I'm not saying good grades don't count for anything, okay? So let's not talk about that, but it's more of a compliance thing. Okay, and everyone's like, so when you look at, and like I said, I was a teacher a long time. When you look at the assignments and the things that kids do, does it really, when you give that A or that 95, does it really measure their proficiency? Sometimes, right? Sometimes. Unless you're doing standard-based grading, which I think we all have to get better at. And I'm not saying I'm doing it, but that's the ideal. But when you give a grade to something, this is, again, me, it takes away from the learning. Just take a second, process that, because I know, it's getting hot in here, right? Talking about grades. It takes away from the learning, friends. You can get good grades, but not have deep understanding of what you're doing. Again, I'm not putting down grades. It's not that. It's just that there needs to be a better way of doing it. Numbers do not measure a kid's skill level or ability to process and problem solve. You guys, right now we have a major pandemic on our hands. We need people, the people on the front lines that are doing this work to find the cure and to find the vaccine are people that I guarantee did not all get straight A's. They're people that know how to problem solve and think through and think out of the box and take risks, and they're gritty, and they know how to communicate what they are finding. Those people on those front lines, isn't that what we want our kids to have? I don't care if they get a 95 in science, and I'm a science teacher. I don't care. My first few years teaching, maybe I cared, but I don't care after 27 years. That's not what we want. I need those people. We need those people, which our kids can be those people for the next whatever comes. It's because they know how to solve a problem and ask the right questions. It's because they know how to take risks. It's because they know how to collaborate. It's because they know how to communicate. So, this Reimagine Schools idea here now, when we're all on hit this pause, right? Is a time for us to think about. We have to reimagine grades. So wherever you're at, whatever you're at, wherever level you're at, you lead from where you are. And we have to be on the front lines of this discussion, because our kids are not a number. They're not a letter. You know what they are? They're feedback. They are me telling them what they need to work on to get better. That's the feedback. That's what they need. They're not needing a number that's labeling them not on honor roll. There are some kids that are at my school that are the major leaders that don't get good grades. They don't always get good grades. But they're the ones that continue to press, and they communicate, and they ask questions, and they question us, which I love. They advocate for themselves. I don't even care what their GPA is, honestly. So it's about feedback. It's about the qualitative. It's about what can we tell that student to get better, because an A doesn't tell me anything. An 85 doesn't tell me anything. And again, guys, I want you to know, I've been there, done that, gave the grades. And I thought about it and never really understood why I was doing it. And I know we have to do it as a compliance thing, just like kids have to do, certain assignments for compliance. But they're not definitive of proficiency in anything except for following directions and following along. Which then again, think about that. Do we want everyone to just fall in line? I don't. I want kids to advocate and push back and be a leader and question even the adults in a respectful manner, right? In a respectful manner. All right. So we need to reimagine grades, because it doesn't quantify. It's so hard to wrap up if you say A, that kid might have handed in every assignment, got an A, they remembered some things that they could find out on Google anyway. But does that measure their excitement, their passion, their growth, their grit, their courage, their communication? No, it doesn't. Now, if you're using a rubric, bravo. If you're using a rubric to judge a project-based experience that's authentic, we're all trying to do that. We're not perfect at it. There's no way. I want to learn from you. Please tell me how to do it so much better so we can grade them correctly. But right now, I feel like the system's so broken. We need to focus on the feedback. How do they get feedback? Self-assessments. And I know a lot of you guys are doing self-assessments. Asking kids, what do you think you should get? What do you think? How do you think you did on this project? Even take the what you should get out. And then other teachers, what about, sorry, my phone was ringing. So what about peer feedback? I mean, we have teachers that are doing amazing peer feedback. I see it every day at my own school. We all need to get better at it. Peer feedback. They need to be able to not only know how they did, but also give that critical feedback, constructive criticism to someone else. in a respectful manner, of course. So, research tells us, and let's dig into the research because we know it's our research. I see a lot of you on here that I see on it. You guys are experienced veteran educators, and I honor you. And please give me feedback on what you think, because we got to do this together, guys. This is something now. This is big. This shows us that we need people that can't always just do and follow the directions. We want people to be leaders and press and think differently. So the research on grades actually shows, let me give you some of this research and I'll give you a link, but this was reported in an article by Alfie Kohn, and I think you guys know who he is, but it decreases their interest. It creates a preference for the easiest task. Just show me how I can get it done and be done. At MVLA, I always tell the kids, you're never done. You're not done. You're not done. I'm not done. You're not done. You got some time. We're here for, in school for a number of hours. We're not done. You move on to the next thing, right? It causes kids to take less risks, and it decreases their quality of thinking. We don't want any of that. We think about what's going on right now. Those researchers, I want them to increase their quality of thinking. I want them to go for the best, not the easiest. I want them to take risks. I want them to be passionate about what they're doing, which they are. And I thank God bless them. So how can we apply this to our life? Okay, this is a start of a conversation that I want to have. There are those of you all across the country right now. People that I taught with in New York, how you doing? It's great to see you. And people that I've met in other places, and my TAF friends, and teachers from Deming that now teach in other states. Let's talk about this. Let's apply it to our lives too. So if you're watching and you're not an educator, or you're in whatever field you're in, how do you grade your life? Do you grade your life with a letter? No, I don't. But what measures? Do you go by like how many followers or how many people are on my video right now? 2. I don't care if there's 1 or none. Someone's going to watch it. It might help one person. That's how I know I helped somebody. Do you go by how much money you make? These are just questions, guys. How do you grade your life? Degrees that you have? Friends that you have? And ask yourself, whatever you answer to that, is that what you want it to be? Because I know during this hiatus time, because we can't be together at schools, it's caused me to really think even more. And I'm pretty reflective, I believe, normally, but it's caused me to reflect even more. And I'm asking myself those questions too. And how you grade yourself, does that really match up with your purpose? And again, these are not questions for you to answer right now. They're just questions for you to think about. So I challenge you guys, let's reimagine the way we grade. If we have to grade at all, let's call it something else. Let's call it feedback or something else. I'd love to hear your comments, and I hope you're having an amazing, blessed day. And thank you so much. I mean, you guys, this is so important. Our kids need us to equip them with the skills for the future. And this is a test of it right now. And our kids are ready. They're hungry for it. They're hungry for it. But we can't do it by just giving work that is not important and things that they can find out with the Google on their watch or in their pocket, right? Critical thinking and skills that are going to last them a lifetime are the things we need to focus on. And we need to bring that to them. And we need to focus on that too. Because those are the people that I want leading us in the future. And that's our kids. That's our kids. Let's do it for them. Let's all reimagine the way we think about grades. And let's reimagine the feedback that we give. Because it's all about kids getting the feedback that they need, that's individual for them. And sometimes that feedback's hard. It's tough love. because we want them to do better. We know that they have it, but we have to bring it out. And I feel like that's one of the biggest things that teachers need to focus on, is bringing out those gifts that our kids have. So thank you guys for being on here. And thank you for just listening and trying to process this with me. Let's do it together. Let's figure this out, because this is our time, a pause that's given us a time to reflect and think about how to do it. So thank you all. I'm wearing my Be the Revolution because this shirt makes me remember that we are the revolution. We have to continue to question and do things better for kids and for teachers. And so reimagine grades. And I'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow. And we're going to reimagine something else in our series of reimagining school. So thanks a lot. Love you guys.